Welcome to the progress report for the week of May 6th, 2020. I'm Cherish Simpson. Here's a look at a few students' lives and how they have changed due to COVID-19. Zach Steele shares what his family has been doing during this quarantine.
Only a couple of hours after the sun rises, so does my family. We walk down to the barn where a list of objectives to be completed are waiting for us. That's my brother Luke on the left and stepdad Derek on the right. Our dog Sailor is always in the middle. The first thing to do is to clean the ice machine that Derek uses to keep his scallops cool before they are put on the delivery truck. The coronavirus has taken a toll on everyone since the outbreak, but some people aren't letting that keep them down forever, especially when they are needed for jobs like this. One of those people is our family friend Russell, who came to clean and maintenance the ice machine for the upcoming scallop season. While Russell cleans up, Derek gets his power tools out and puts him to work. He's only got a couple of more days to fix up his scallop dredge before he's out back to sea. Here he is welding a clamp to a scallop dredge. Once the clamp is welded on, the top bolt, which is an essential piece to the dredge, has to be brushed off. A steel power brush is used to clean the rings of the bolt off. Because the dredge is exposed to salt water all spring and summer long, it collects a lot of rust that can deteriorate its condition. The bolt is screwed back in and the scallop dredge is ready to be put on the boat. The dredge itself almost weighs a ton. The nylon rope in the center collects the scallops and the chains hold them in place. The tractor is loaded onto the trailer and we're ready to head to the harbor. But before I leave, I decide to give Sailor some exercise. All dogs love a good stick, even though Sailor would probably chew on anything. Sailor is a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, but he's still trying to figure out the retriever aspect of it. The ride to the second to none is relatively short, but with over a ton being towed behind him, Derek has to take it slow and steady on the winding roads of Weatipquan. From Quantico to Tyaskin through Bivalve and finally in Nanticoke, we arrived to the boat. If you couldn't tell by the names, the eastern shore of Maryland was once densely populated by Native American people, who farmed and fished like we still do, but with more advanced technology. The process of moving the dredge off the trailer begins. The tractor has enough power to move the dredge, but what about finesse? After the first few attempts end in defeat and a bouncing trailer bed, the dredge is finally moved to the ground. The dredge is spread out and put in position to be pulled onto the boat. It was no easy task, but we finally got it on. After the dredge is on, Luke and I are put on cleaning duty. Mold loves moist, dark places, so a boat cabin is its natural home. We spray and wipe until the beds are spotless. Then the floor is ready to be mopped. Having a clean boat is a top priority when it comes to commercial fishing. We move to the outside objectives once the cabin is clean. Drilling in the sideboards is key to staying as dry as possible when fishing on the high seas. One crashing wave hits and you're soaked for the day. Parts of the railing had to be shaved down for the board to fit. Up to the top of the cabin we go to protect the antenna wires from getting wet and deteriorating from the salt water. A liquid seal is put on to prevent that. Adjustments to the antenna are made to make it more secure against the harsh winds and high waves that are sure to come. The antenna is another essential piece to a commercial fishing boat. Down on the deck, it's back to cleaning and organizing. Having what you need in place when you need it during critical moments on the high seas can never be overstated. A proper toolbox could be the difference between a good fishing day or never leaving the harbor. Before we leave, the boat has to be fueled up for its voyage from the Nanticoke Harbor, into the Chesapeake Bay, down around Lower Shore, Virginia, up the Atlantic Ocean, and then finally tied up in Ocean City, Maryland. The sail takes 12 hours and lots of gallons of fuel. The second to none is fit to sail and ready for the scallop season that's already been delayed by coronavirus. The tractor is loaded back on the trailer, dropped off at home, and then we head to town. Our first stop is the Home Depot for buckets and brushes. Amid the outbreak and governor-issued stay-at-home order, the people of Salisbury, Maryland are still out and about, getting done what they can. However, only a certain amount of people are allowed in the store at one time, and the lines stay 6 feet apart per person. Stores and businesses across America are doing this as well. Even if it may not be slowing the virus down, hopefully it isn't speeding it up. Our next stop is Lowe's to find more supplies. Lowe's is just across the road from Home Depot, but wasn't practicing any similar guidelines. However, the cashiers had a plastic shield fixed around the register to protect them from close contact. Since quarantine began, there's been plenty of time to leisure around as well. A creek runs behind our house, so my mom, sister, Marcy Beth, and I like to canoe up and down the creek when the weather permits. Sailor likes to join too, but 3 paddles usually tend to outpaces 4. Tipton Creek has been a sanctuary not only for nature but for me, especially since the global pandemic of coronavirus began with no end in sight. Now that we have a blacktop driveway, playing basketball is a lot more enjoyable. Marcy Beth is learning the fundamentals of basketball and the game of keep away from Sailor, but she still has a lot to learn. Luke and I enjoy throwing the baseball to each other until one of our arms give out. Thanks to the coronavirus, it's the only baseball action we can get for now, but it's better than nothing. Mom takes care of the yard work for now by spraying weeds with weed killer. Too bad it had to be us humans susceptible to the virus instead of the weeds. The days seem to be ending just as quickly as they are beginning. Our day-to-day activities have changed, but end goals have remained the same, and that's to be here for one another and to care for one another. As the sun sets on another day infected of sickness, stress, and fear, our hope, willingness to help others, and love for one another will rise again tomorrow. For the Eastern Progress, I'm Zach Steely.
Jennifer Perkins talks about how she has had to work from home during this pandemic.
For many, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to work from home. By keeping us from our collaborative workspaces like the Eastern Progress office, student editors for the Progress are working on virtual platforms like Zoom and Slack to continue publishing. Whereas we were once able to post our individual budgets and work collaboratively by keeping written records of progress on whiteboards, we are now working exclusively on platforms like Google Drive to keep in contact. We were once able to work together in person, which helped us to learn and build friendships and networks. But even other classes, like honors thesis, have become more difficult. Whereas I once had space to display my 30-page handwritten thesis, I'm now working online, only able to view one screen at a time. Resources that were available in the library, like simple books, are no longer accessible, and many historical texts are not even digitized. Getting access to digital archives, like the ones seen here, are also impossible to get because of the library's closure. Simple things like access to proper equipment that assist in the learning process, like computer screens and audio equipment, have become a thing of the past. While working from home has given students time with family and pets, it's created a world of greater stress and anxiety for all students.
Jacob Broadwell shows what him and his roommate have done with balancing classes and having more free time due to the cancellation of classes.
What happened at the buzzer there, Eric? What happened? Did I pull one up with Den Whittle and fucking sink it? Like strawberry wine, 17.
You'd stand, you'd have the smell of cigarettes, the burgers, the Tuesday night games.
Sit down.
But Ultras United became like every other football club that I saw.
Why is it so far?
So there's not really much to do in town anymore. As I've shown you in the last 3 projects I've made, my life kind of follows the same basic pattern. I wake up at like 2 o'clock in the day. I eat, kind of drive around, hang out with friends occasionally, hang out in a hammock. And that's pretty much the case for today. I'm here with my friend Eric. I graduated with him. He moved away, and then he moved back, then he moved away again, then he moved back again. And so now he's been coming down a little bit. So I've been kind of hanging out with him, quarantining ourselves, so to speak. I mean, yeah, that's really it. It's nice, you know, rainy day, so to speak.
For more stories, go to www.easternprogress.com. For the Progress Report, I'm Cherish Simpson.